Cotton, what are you doing?
Digging.
What? But that's a mushroom.
I'm digging for treasure, Candy.
Cotton, all you will find in there are smaller mushrooms.
Well, mushrooms are treasure to me.
What?
But so is actual treasure.
All right, then.
Ladies and gentlemen, with the release of Iceborne steadily creeping closer and closer, every moment in time is a ticking time bomb of potential leaks. And recently, the entire achievement list was actually leaked, though, as I am staying as spoiler-free as a family sedan, I'm only allowed to look at a small section of them, though that won't stop me from speculating the most interesting possible meaning from these little text-based bad boys. So stick around if you want the lowdown on these high-up achievements. First off then is Fledgling Observer and Outstanding Observer, which together point at an activity known as a request for the Linean Researcher, which is relatively repeatable.
Check out the big brain on bread.
So what exactly could this be? Well, the Linean Researcher himself is the man who assists us in finding our Palico gadgets, and considering his job, whatever this is, will absolutely have to do with cats.
You're a smart motherfucker, that's right.
Now, the first idea would be more Palico gadgets, but considering the achievement to complete many of them, I feel like that is very unlikely. This one is a little bit more abstract, so it's hard to nail down an obvious answer, but I do of course have a few suggestions of my own. First off then is a Prowler minigame. Prowler was a hunting style Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate that let you literally become your Palico, fighting as a Palico, running as a Palico, and even loving as a Palico.
Please do not love as me, Cotton.
Ew, Kitty, no. Anyways, imagine if there is a little minigame on expeditions where you can enter Prowler mode and maybe enter some areas that are too tiny for the hunter to get to, just like tiny subquests for each map. This one is a little unlikely, as I doubt it will be a mechanic as fleshed out as this, but it could even be as simple as giving the man some cat food, or even be the one I consider the most likely, which is potentially observing different groups of Grimalkinds from a distance, actually using binoculars from a distance to watch their behavior. I think that would be a really neat way to add some extra lore and detail into the Lineans and give the hunter a good reason to see this detail at the same time.
Bonus.
But without confirmation, the only thing we can say this definitely points to is more content, more things to do, and more ways to spend your time in the Monster Hunter world. So who could really complain about that? The second set of achievements for us to ponder today are Fledgling Collector, Veteran Collector, and Ultimate Collector, which tell a story old as time known as... which in the context of Monster Hunter opens up a massive world of possibilities. My first guess is that we'll find some sort of a shovel tool through the story of Iceborne and literally be able to dig around the pre-existing maps. Imagine if, like footprints, we as hunters could track clues to find literal buried treasure. How cool would that be? I could just see our Palicos stopping and sniffing by a patch of dirt, only for us to come over and dig up a shiny item of some sort. This is definitely the thing I think is most likely, especially based on the wording of there being lots of them in a locale and them being in multiple locales. Now, based on the wording of this as treasure and the fact that there is a simply ludicrous amount of furniture and decor options for the new private room in Iceborne,
You look marvelous, darling.
I feel pretty confident in saying that at least some of the furniture and decor will be unlocked through whatever this treasure system turns out to be. Though in theory, it could be so many different things, like maybe monster parts or decorations or possibly layered armor pieces or maybe even pendants, which I'll be diving into in a moment here. Hell, it could even wind up being a full-on section of the endgame if they really expanded on it, considering long boat trips we all took to the new world in the first place, and how the travel to the Hoarfrost Reach, also across a large body of water, was on a boat. I'd say it is a reasonable assumption that the new world hunters are pretty effective sailors. What if the extension of that is at the endgame we get to travel to tiny little islands littered throughout the continent? You could have there be even hundreds of them, considering the size of the land masses, some small, some large, with varying amounts of treasures, and all with a variety of monsters. Some old, but hell, maybe even some of the entirely new monsters for the game could just be wandering around one of the larger islands, not even in the story, but they're just for the endgame. And look, I know that is about as insane theories go for literally reading an achievement, but I like to dream big, and having that as part of a much larger endgame for Iceborne would make me ecstatic, because that is something I look forward to more than anything else in this expansion, is the idea of a fully fleshed out endgame. Speaking of that endgame, the achievement Personal Treasure points to the existence of a new equipment piece known as a pendant. Based on the icon for the achievement, it will likely be just a small stone that hangs off of your weapon, but what that stone does is the main thing that is up for contention.
We don't know what we did.
And that is where this gets very interesting, because the pendants could be something as simple as just a bonus decoration slot, essentially something that you can move from weapon to weapon to just add more slots. However, I believe if this was the route they were going to take, then the pendants should be set skills. Like, imagine just a rank of attack up you can just attach to a weapon, or maybe today you want it to be health recovery instead. The secondary option, which to me seems the most likely, is that the pendant will be a set skill bonus, but also they could be set skill bonuses like Razor Sharp or Crit Element that you can't just get in a decoration. Crit Element and Crit Status were worked inherently into the Kiar weapons from Arch Tempered Culve, so this proves that Capcom are willing to experiment with more skills on weapons, and to me, this seems the best place. I think they'll all be much stronger than just a decoration, or else it would be too simple. So again, something like Razor Sharp, or maybe like 3 ranks of attack up, or the entirety of health boost. Something substantial and significant to your build. I also believe that this could be where the true endgame of Iceborne lies, sort of like the way that charms worked in the older generation Monster Hunter games, where you have to farm for a really good roll of the right skills after getting tons and tons of drops from farming specific monsters. I think that is exactly where pendants could be headed, though it is also just as likely that they're just a thing you can craft like any other, as this UI at the blacksmith does in fact show that there is a pendant section in this menu, but I don't think that that really takes away any potential from my idea for the pendants. As a whole, I think the information from all of these achievements, while small, is absolutely game-changing, and I just can't wait to get in there.
Grease me up, woman!
Okie dokie.
So I can see what all of these things actually are, and this really is just the start of it. There are so many more achievements that I don't even know about, and I know that they revealed some really cool things. Thankfully for you guys, you can go check out what those things are. Me though, I just have to sit here contemplating Linnean researcher request treasure in pendants, essentially imagining the life of a feline pirate. Alright everyone, I've been Gotten Dinosaur, and these have been more leaked achievements. What do you think that these could all mean? Did you like some of my ideas, or were they all just hot garbage? Like if you liked the video, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet. This is the brand new outro to tell you all the things that you do that we love, so let's start with something simple and say, oh, we love your eyes. When they're watching us play video games, when we make a bunch of jokes that are kinda lame, or when they gaze upon our failures as we try to kill the monsters, or report important news about the kingdom Animalia. Rage, Continent, Hollow, we're all here, talking about the things you want to hear, so if you want to be the first to hear, like and subscribe and the bell and we'll cheer. Some of you are patrons, even though we are all the noobs and you're the pros, there's nothing we can do to thank you. No, really, there's nothing we could possibly do. Goodbye.